Okay, so it's been a while since I've done any modelling videos, so tonight I'm just doing a quick video to show you what's going on at the moment. This is the Sword Harrier T2/T4, recently released about 6 weeks ago. It's a very nice model. I've already built one, which I will show you just here. So here's the first one I completed using the Vingtor decals. Okay, enjoyed that enough that in very short order after building that one I started a second one. The intention with this one is to do the US Marine Corps aircraft which comes with the kit. So I've built the model. It goes together pretty much like the Eschi kit. There's not too much trouble involved in building this. I've sprayed the underside already with light aircraft grey. I've done some of the minor details like the fin cap and dielectric panels and stuff, and masked them off. So the stage we're at now is where I'm ready to apply the top side initial coat of dark grey for the camouflage. I'm using Guns Mister colours for these, for this camouflage. I've used H332, which is light aircraft grey for the light aircraft grey. Now, for the dark sea grey, I find that Guns' dark sea grey is in fact too dark, and having done some looking around for alternative colours, I've actually found that H13, which is neutral grey, seems to make a very nice in-scale dark sea grey. It looks very good to me as a match. So that's the colour I'm using. It's not as dark as the actual official dark sea grey colour is. So this is the colour I choose to use. So I'm going to be using my Iwata HPC for this. Okay, so basically we're ready to go. The compressor's on, so I'm just adding a bit of Mr. Colour levelling thinner to my airbrush cup, and then I'm going to tip a bit of the neutral grey into the cup. Give it a good mix around. Okay, and then I'm going to check for, yeah, I've got good flow immediately. There's all the minor stuff that I've already I've masked off, things like the drop tanks. So I'll just check that the masking is right down on those before spraying. These drop tanks, I've used some masking fluid for the bulk of the drop tank. That's something I often do, but I decided to use in this case. So now my airbrush seems to be, it's not spitting, it's laying down the paint fine, but there's an odd kind of very slight pulse with it at the moment, which I'm going to have to look into. I think some of the seals might need replacing on my airbrush, but at the moment it's still spraying okay, so we'll get this coat on. Just going to thin that back a bit more, see if it helps the situation any. one of the other things that needs to be done is the main canopy, the rear half of the main canopy also needs to be grey. Okay, one of the things at the underside of Harriers was that the camouflage wrapped around the leading edge of the wings onto the underside by a few inches, so that needs some fairly careful masking and spraying. And the other thing is that the underside of the wing here is an area which can escape the airbrush quite easily if you're not careful, so make sure the area gets a good cover. Okay, that is our basic colours on, so now what I'm going to do is tip the majority of that back into the paint cup. Make sure I wipe my airbrush off of any paint spilled. and then I'm going to lighten the colour with a couple of brushfuls of white. Thin it back very heavily, so it's a very thin mix. And then I can start looking at the fading of panels, and then I'm just going around panels. And I'm adding quite a random cloud pattern. I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's quite a random cloud pattern being added, and I'm doing that with all of the stuff which has so far been painted. Dark sea grey. Okay, so that's my basic camouflage on and some of the fading done. Now, one of the things I generally find is that when you fade paint, sometimes it can have a tendency, regardless of how subtly you've done it, it can still look a little bit stark and a little bit essentially airbrushy rather than a generally faded pattern. So one of the things I do, which I find helps this, okay, is just to go back to your original base colour. In this case, this Guns H13, which is standing in for dark sea grey in this case. Okay, if you go back to your base colour, okay, and just make a very, very thin mix indeed in your airbrush. Okay, really, I mean, this is 70 or 80% thinner in here. Okay, and then just give the model a very lightly misted coat of the base colour over your weathering. It doesn't obliterate the weathering effect, but it will. It does tone it back a little bit and blends it in a little bit better, to my eye. Makes it look a little bit more like fading and a little bit less like, you know, we've been over the model with our airbrush, which we have, but we don't want it to necessarily look like that, do we? So a couple of very lightly misted coats of the original colour. We'll blend that back very nicely. And that's it. Okay, so what we'll be doing is we'll be letting our dark sea grey coat dry, and then what we'll be doing is masking it off with blue tack to do the dark green colour. I won't do a video showing the masking because if you go back to one of the C515 videos, how I use blue tack to mask is amply covered in one of those videos, so I'd recommend you go back to there. So next time you see this, it'll all be masked up and we'll be ready to spray the green. Okay, so I'm just going to clean my airbrush and I'll see you all on the other side when I'm ready to start spraying.